Hello and welcome to Rookie Ninjas, where we explore day trading futures on the NinjaTrader platform, identifying supply and demand and reading price action, because we want your future self to thank you and not hate you for your future trades. Alright, welcome to another strategy builder series here on Rookie Ninjas, and this strategy we're going to be working on today is actually going to be a little bit different than what we're used to. So, I was actually perusing through some old strategies. As you can tell, I've made probably too many. A lot of them I've completely forgotten what they're even about. But I was looking at this Disparity Pullback. This was something that I put together a while ago, and I wanted to pull it back up and see if anything can be done with this particular strategy. Now, it's already been optimized, run through the analyzer, and I know that this is just one that I had created and kind of just forgotten about. And a big part of the reason why I forgot about it was that from the beginning of the year to current day, felt that it took just way too many trades. Realize that that's just two, but it was also functioning where it kind of just would end one trade and want to immediately jump into another. The strategy works and it's profitable, but the drawdown and the amount of trades I just didn't like, so I kind of just put this one on the shelf and forgot about it. I don't have the video of when this strategy was built, so I might have to go back and actually remake it and recreate it to show kind of the just the inputs, outputs, and kind of what we're kind of coding into our strategy to make this particular one work. Not so bad. The good thing about this one here is that it's actually risking 99 and it's aiming for 350. However, it's got plenty of moments where it can close early as well, I believe, and close early as well. But the interesting thing about this particular strategy is that when you're looking at the results, they tell you one thing, but if you can just look beneath the surface, sometimes you can find that there's actually other avenues you can take when you're building a strategy, and how you react to it, and kind of how you set up your particular method of using it. Alright, this strategy sits at positive 30,380, which is fantastic considering this is based off trading a single contract, just one. The max drawdown was too much, 8,260. Max losses in a row was 10, which considering that the average losing trade is 440, that's a significant amount, over 4,000. 431 trades is also a hefty amount of trades. I mean, again, something that not a lot of folks like to remember, but each time you do trade, there are fees associated with it. So, at first glance, I wasn't too thrilled about this strategy, even though it was very green. But recently, this past week, I've decided to revisit it, and I've been running it in live settings just to see how she performs, and I noticed something very interesting. So here are our results. A lot of red. We have hefty winners, which is really what's keeping this strategy positive. It's only hitting here at a 32.95%, which is not great, not terrible, but upon reviewing the data, and part of the reason that I've gone back now and I'm revisiting this and I'm trying to run it in the live setting is that I noticed something. As I analyzed through the results, I started to notice that maybe this actually wasn't such a bad result after all. Going back to the summary, we had a max consecutive losers of 10 in a row, which at the end of the day is not terrible. We're still hitting above 30%. What if, in order to narrow down this number, this 431, we said something along the lines of, we will not take a trade until we see 1, 2, 3, 4 losses in a row. Then we will begin trading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until we reach a trade that reaches the maximum profit target. So to reiterate, say this is the start of the year, starting in a second. We drop down, we wait till we see in the pattern that there are 4 losses. Then and only then do we activate our strategy to begin taking trades until a maximum target is reached. And then we no longer trade till once again we see 1, 2, 3, 4 trades in a row. Now, I ran through this and I worked quite a few different numbers out. And essentially what I ended on was that the consecutive losses had to be above a minimum of $220. So if the losses were above 220, then they counted as 4 losses in a row. But if you had a loss that kicked in under 220, like $20, $30 here, 75, this would not be counted and it would reset the count until we reached once again 1, 2, 3, 4 losses that were above 220 each, and we trade until we hit our target of 1750, which is our maximum profit target for this particular strategy. And what started as, oh, maybe this could work, actually turned out to be something pretty impressive. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So essentially after 4 losses in a row, you would trade until you hit 1750. So in this case, you took these 3 trades and you would have profited. These two pretty much nullify each other, so 1760 profit. All right, you turn off the strategy and you wait for another row of 4 that are above 220 at least, and then you start taking trades, which meaning that 1, 2, 3, 4 trades would be taken. Because these 3 almost nullify each other, we're still looking at a profit of nearly 1,500, maybe a little bit above, not entirely sure. Now here's an interesting one. So under 220, so it doesn't count. Under 220, so it doesn't count. So we would actually enter 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we would take 1, 2, 3 trades until we had a maximum profit. In this case, it would be $760 profit. I went through it and I'm not going to really bore you with it, but the results were actually pretty impressive. Going from the beginning of the year through April 30th, compared to these results here, which that's quite a hefty difference. So we're looking at 4 max consecutive, 10 max losses still. Using this strategy of only taking trades after 4 negative losses in a row that are above 220 each, and then and only then trading until the maximum profit of 1750 was reached, I was able to slim down my total number of trades from 399 to 78, with 36 wins and 42 losses, so outperforming our percent profitable. And as opposed to this 19,840 that was made from January 1st through April 30th, I was actually sitting at 27,177 in profit. That's one of the things that is wonderful about trading, that when you're building something like a successful strategy or something that's working, you can't always be so black and white about it. You can't be so, oh, I'm going to just take a long trade here if this happens, or if this happens I'm going to short, or I'm going to feel it out, or I'm just going to read price action. There's so many different options as far as what could be profitable and what could actually work and what's essentially not going to work. The one thing that I could tell you that absolutely will not work is if you decide to take any account, doesn't matter, and one day use something like this where you're tracking losses in a row, and then the next day you're reading price action, and then the next day you're running some sort of timed trade, maybe looking at the 4 p.m. or 4 a.m. or even the 9:30 open. If you don't continuously trade the same type of way, you're going to doom yourself to fail, because the results won't be able to be calculated or read or verified or anything of the sort, because your data is going to be convoluted. It's going to be corrupt. You're not going to really know whether any strategies or even your own method is going to be profitable or staying in the green. You're not going to know, because you've mixed so many different strategies and you've traded so randomly that it's not going to really count for anything. And what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up going in circles, and you're going to end up wondering why trading isn't working for you. At the end of the day, if you're going to trade, especially let's say a sim account that you generate, if you really want to see and track and know whether you're on the right track and building properly, select your strategy, and whatever you do, just be consistent with it so that it's measurable and so that you can actually tell whether or not on paper something is working long term or not. This is not a quick process. You don't see results like this and immediately think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna dump my life savings into this and watch it soar because the data is showing that this is profitable. No, you're gonna take a sim account, you're gonna run it in a live setting, you're gonna collect data in a live setting for the past month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, and then and only then can you really expect that if something is consistently hitting the way that you're hoping it is, or you're hoping that it will, then and only then can you really be successful with something like day trading futures. Anyways, this was a short one. I just wanted to get that thought out there. Sometimes the strategies we build that we toss aside are not always what they seem. There's got to be other ways to analyze data. Sometimes when you think that something like a strategy that you've built is not working and should be tossed aside and it's just a waste of your time, maybe it's not always what it seems. Maybe sometimes you are stumbling in the right direction, and all you need to do is continue to dig a little bit, analyze a little bit more, and be open-minded to what could really be possible with one of these strategies that you set up for yourself. Taking into account things like the percent profitable versus the largest winning trade versus how many losses in a row versus how often these trades show up. Because going back and analyzing it, these max trades appear an average of every 6 trades. So if you set yourself up for success, then there's no reason that you can't be profitable. If you put the time in, and you put the work in, you analyze it, you track it, you see how it's really working, then yeah, there's no reason that you can't find a profitable route to hopefully being successful with something like day trading. Just a lot of potential. So anyways guys, that's going to do it for this one. Hopefully you got something out of it. If you have any sort of questions, feel free to reach out. And until next time, happy trading.